Welcome back. Sorry for the delay. So before we begin, I just want to say, like, anybody who's trying to encourage somebody or do a video like we're doing, to stay girded up, because I can tell you this, it almost wasn't another video, but we pressed through. We thank you all for the support, the reaching out, the encouragement, because we definitely are wanting to do it to touch somebody's soul, to save somebody's marriage, and it's not for show. And we didn't realize the attack that the enemy would have on us by doing this. So here we go.
Right. So like she just said, just to piggyback real quick before she gets started. So what she means, just for the ones who don't know or didn't catch it, what she mean by girded up is just make sure you just stay prayerful and keep yourself covered at all times. And we just say that because, again, you just don't know when you're trying to be a witness, and you definitely are touching people who are, looking forward or want to hear more, or just want to hear more about God and what He's doing. A lot of times the enemy will find different avenues and different doors to come through to knock you off. So you just want to make sure that you keep yourself prayed up, before and after, just to make sure that you're keeping those avenues closed. So then that way you can continue to move forward and continue to be a witness. Cause like you said, we definitely got tried, and like I said, like we told you, we're going to be honest, we're going to be open, it's not no thing where, like I said, we are perfect. We want you guys to be able to see and hear, everything, so that way you understand that being in this walk is not a perfect thing. No matter how many people try to paint it perfect, you do go through trials and tribulations, so you will go through certain things. It's not a perfect thing. It's just about how are you going to respond to it, how are you going to stay prayerful and stay focused and stay kingdom minded, so that way you can press through and get through. So with that being said, the floor is yours.
But we left off on the initial split up, when we split up the very first time. Just going off of a woman's perspective, when we first split up, I was like, it's cool, I got this. That was my mindset. It didn't bother me at first. Of course, I had my mom, my dad in my corner, not saying like picking sides or anything. It was more so, I had that spiritual background to have, that encouragement to keep me girded up. But really, it was like, as a woman, we kind of like hide our feelings. We got this, like, no issues. But then eventually it started wearing on me to where I started to stress. I started losing weight. I was just like, every single minute of the day, I'm thinking about my marriage and what happened, and just thinking every single scenario through from the time we met. And it was a real stressful moment to go through with kids, because you still have to try to remain positive and not allow them to see you cry in a situation, to, be mommy, because all they know is mommy is strong, and they see that hero in you. So it was very hard to still be able to work, to be able to go to church with a straight face, just all in general. It was very tough for me. Want to pick up on how it was for you?
Got you. So for me, on the flip side, mine was a whole lot different, and I say that because when you are the one who is looking for that, I guess, to want to leave or for things to end, obviously your feelings towards it are going to be a whole lot different. And so for me, it was just like, I felt like, of course, I felt like in my mind, I felt like a burden had been lifted. I felt like I was doing the best thing. I felt like, in that moment, it just seemed like it was the best thing for me to do, because of just the things that we had been going through, and because we were just so, like, it's like immature as far as like marriage wise, and not really having a foundation. Because like I said before, I didn't have an example of what a true marriage looked like. I don't know what a successful marriage looks like. So eventually got to that point where I was just like, so I think for me, it was just like, okay, well, on, new ventures, try to get myself together as much as possible. At the time, I think, I only had, Aaliyah and D2 as well. We had D2, so I only had Aaliyah and D2, you know. And the only thing that really affected me the most was the kids, and I mean like my stepkids, which I consider, y'all know I consider them my daughters as well, because at the end of the day it's like they, you know, we grew a bond, and I'm very family oriented, so it was like, you know, that was the one thing that really kind of hurt me, because it was just like, man, like these are, you know, girls who, you know, yes, they you know, they have their dad and things of that nature, you know, just that we grew a bond as well. So it was more so like, man, like I'm not gonna be them, I'm not gonna be around them. You know, my daughter, you know, she grew attached to them, so it was getting through that initial process. But other than that, like I didn't really have any emotions when it came to her. Like I was just like, you know, it is what it is at that point, you know, because I felt like I was doing the best thing, and it was just like, just keep moving, you know, and that's pretty much how it went for me.
So that was the two different perspectives as like how we felt when we split up, and it was like a really long process. Like when you're going through something, it seemed like it's the longest process ever. It was a lot of different emotions involved. It was a lot of different things that was said and done out of emotions. And that's the one thing that you have to try to stand firm on, is moving the way God wants you to move. Because a lot of times when you're doing something and you move on emotion, you can stretch the process longer than what God intends it to be. And I can definitely say that to be certain, is because it's a lot of things that I said and I did in the process that we could have gotten back together a lot quicker than we did. And it's a lot of things that could have been avoided had we both not have acted out of emotions and seek God in it. So just for anybody, not even just in marriages, but in any situation, if you're going through something, definitely seek God and stand firm on that, and don't move on your own will, because you can make the situation worse. You can stretch it out longer, and then it's like, now you mad at God, because it's like, God don't hear me. God don't understand what I'm going through, but it's really yourself that is making the process harder and stressful for you. So
yeah. That is, yeah. Thank you for that, babe. Because yes, you absolutely right. Because, like for me, on my perspective on it as well, like what I was going through was that, especially with moving out of emotions. One thing I will say, especially to the guys. Well, I think it's especially to the guys, because I know women it happen to them too. But you want to make sure like that if you're gonna seek some type of counsel, seek somebody who is gonna give you like real godly counsel. Because a lot of the times, because we're so used to going to our friends and things of that nature, because you're going through, a lot of times they're gonna have their own perspective, and it's gonna sound like it's the best thing to do, because you're already in the emotions of, this is what I want to do. And so for me, you know, I had a lot of people in my head, you know, and it was one of the roughest things, because growing up, I've always just lived a life of like wanting to like please other people, you know, in the sense of like, I don't like seeing people mad. I don't want to make nobody mad or angry, stuff like that. So I have my own feelings, but then I will also I'll listen to other things, and it kept wavering me like what to do, because as we were split, it was like, okay, we're going through this process. It's been like, you know, some months now, and it's like, you know, I don't file for divorce and everything. And I'm like, why can't we not? Like, what is taking this process so long? It felt like the process was taking forever. It was not moving. And I'm just like, okay, God, are you like trying to tell me something? Like, are you trying to say I should go back? Because it's like this process is getting delayed like forever, and it seems like it ain't moving anywhere, you know. And then as I'm speaking to other people, it's almost like I'm getting one opinion like, hey, yeah, nah, you know, just stick it out. It's going to happen. You don't worry about it. What's going to happen. Then there's other opinions like telling me to stay. And then because my emotions were against it, it's like I was blocking what God was trying to tell me as far as staying here, as far as staying within my marriage and really trying to fight and make it work. So really, you know, seek wise counsel. Seek people that have been through what you may have been through, or that, you know, can provide things to back up what they're saying. So then that way, you know exactly like, okay, it's not just coming out of thin air, but it's things that people have actually went through. It's people that are, you know, even if it your situation sounds horrible to them, they're not trying to be biased and say, oh, let me take her side this side, but it's more so like, no, this is what, this is what the worst, this is what you should be doing. And if it lines up accordingly, then okay, then you proceed from there. But if something don't make sense, make sure that you are really like, are open and willing to want to hear God's word. I don't seek God wise counsel when your mind ain't open to want to hear what they got to say, because at the end of the day, they just wasting their breath, because you're not going to listen anyway. So you have to make sure that you are willing and open to want to hear what somebody has to say, to give you that godly counsel, because if not, the words are going to fall on deaf ears, because as soon as you leave, you're going to still go back to thinking the same thing that you thought before you even had that conversation. So, like we said, it was rough, and I know more rough on her end than it was for me. Things didn't start getting worse for me until I totally got away from ministry. That's when things started getting rough, because it's like I knew where I wanted to be, but it was hard because the ministry that I desired to be at is where I'm at right now. But because I had left there, because that was the ministry that she was going to, I tried. Like, I was trying other ministries. I was trying to figure out, okay, I need to get back in ministry. Like, I have a passion to want to praise dance mime, and I really want to get a ministry. I need to be fair, because right now, all I'm doing is just out here just, drinking, partying. And I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I'm just saying, like, I knew what my peace was. I knew what brought me happiness, and it was being in ministry. And I had a long battle with that. I fell into some dark places mentally, because I knew where I wanted to be, and I just could not find the right fit for me, that where I could say, you know what, this is where I belong ministry wise. And everything led me back to the ministry that we're at right now, which is where my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they are the pastor and co-pastor that teach there, but again, it's not because of them being my in-laws, because trust me, she would tell you, like, it took me a while to even want to go there. It was just more so like they really, speak, what comes from, God himself. Is not in that fabricated stuff or nothing like that. And that was what I desired, trying to find it elsewhere, but I just couldn't get it. So that's where I struggled the most, that really is trying to get back in ministry. And I think because I was being disobedient towards my marriage, that's what made it hard for me to get back in ministry in the first place. And I was trying my hardest, and it just wasn't working. I was lost, just doing my own thing, and just like, I was wilding. Yeah.
Going back to what he was saying, that it was like a long process. When I tell you it was so long, like, I can tell that God was really like trying to intervene, because when we went to court, it literally, like, when he filed for divorce, any little thing, the judge will push the court date back. Like, we'll go to court, and then it was like one thing wasn't signed or a paperwork wasn't turned, like, he pushed it back 2 months. Like,
let me pause real quick, y'all. My bad. So, like we told y'all, this is real. So I gotta leave. I'm gonna let her finish up this video, because I gotta go back to lunch. So, but I do thank y'all for being in tune. I thank you guys for watching it, sharing it, and getting out to everybody. But again, I gotta get back to lunch so I don't be late.
We clocked out around the same time.
She's going to finish up, and then we'll get back to another one probably this week, because we owe y'all another one just because we've been 2 weeks late. So y'all have a good one. Babe, finish it up. I'm gonna see you later, because remember, you clocked out a couple minutes after me, so mine was 2:18 when I clocked out, so I gotta go. All right, have a good one. I'm gone.
So I'm gonna just say this little piece, and then I'm gonna end it. So basically, the process was so long, like, the judge kept pushing everything back. Every time we didn't have something turned in, it was literally pushed back. And I'm just like, dang, like, is this something that, God is trying to intervene? But every time that court date was over, then things just got so much, like, worse for us. Like, it was just like, we were getting more angrier. We were just, so after we went back to court, because we had 3 court dates from the time he filed for the divorce. The last court date, I think, was a day. Yeah, it was a day before we had to go to court. He reached out to me and basically was saying that he wants to work on his marriage, and he didn't want to go through with the divorce. So I was like, So we end up not showing up for court. Neither one of us showed up for court. And they canceled that court date, and we we met up, we talked about how, you know, we should make things work, and we went through the whole ordeal. And then I'll cut it from there, and then we'll pick back up from there. Thank you guys for watching. We definitely appreciate all the support, all the prayers, the reaching out. We really appreciate that, and we'll keep the videos going. We'll try to post another one this weekend. We're trying to pick up where we left off, so that we won't skip anything, but the next video will have more time to